Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Today, my friend and I would like to present about an attitude. First of all, we would like to introduce ourselves. My name is Amalina and my friend is Najwa. Let's start it. What is definitions of an attitude? Attitudes are an evaluation statement either favorable or unfavorable, which is about object, people, or events. They reflect how we feel about something. For example, I say, I like my job, which I am expressing my attitude about my work. Okay, let's figure out what is component of an attitude. Components of an attitude consist of three, which is first, cognitive, second, affective, third, behavioral. Cognitive is evaluations. For example, my supervisor gave a promotion to a co-worker who deserved it less than I did. My supervisor is unfair. Second, affective, which is feelings. I dislike my supervisor. Third, behavioral actions. I'm looking for other work. I have complained about my supervisor to anyone who would listen. Okay, for these three components, they are very related to each other. This scenario shows the negative attitude towards supervisor.
Does our attitude determine behavior or behavior determine our attitude? When a person focuses more on their own attitudes and feelings, they tend to act on those attitudes, and hence attitudes and behavior are really related. Mitigating variables means that attitudes predict behavior.
Under the topic of an attitudes, it consists of major job attitudes. Definitions of job attitudes. A positive or negative evaluations that employers hold about aspects of their work environments. An attitude consists of five, which is job satisfactions, job involvement, organizational commitment, perceived organizational support, and lastly, employee engagement. First, job satisfactions. Meaning of job satisfactions. A positive feelings about the job resulting from an evaluation of its characteristics. Here we can see from the slide that if a job satisfaction is high, a person holds positive feeling on his or her job, while if job satisfaction is low, a person holds negative feeling on his or her job. So from here we can conclude that the job satisfaction is depend on employee attitudes. Next, job involvement. Definitions of job involvement. It is a degree of psychological identification with a job where perceived performance is important to self-worth. It is also related to job satisfactions. What is high-level involvement? High-level involvement is an employee who is an identified person which strongly care on what kind of job scope his or her focus on. It is closely related with psychological empowerment concept. Do you know what is psychological empowerment concept? Psychological empowerment concept is belief in the degree of influence over one's job, competence, job meaningfulness, and autonomy. It is also job performance is based on the high level of job involvement and psychological empowerment. Okay, here is another major job attitude, which is organizational commitment. Definitions of organizational commitment. It is identifying with a particular organization and its goal and wishes to maintain membership in the organizations. Under the organizational commitment consists of its dimensions. The dimensions of organizational commitment consist of effective commitment, normative commitment, and lastly is continuous commitments. Effective commitment is an emotional attachment to the organizations and belief in its value, while for normative commitment is an obligation to remain with organizations for moral or ethical reasons. An example, an employee spearheading a new initiative may remain with an employer because he feels he would leave the company in loss if he left. For continuous commitments, perceive economic value of remaining with an organization. For example, an employee may be committed to an employer because he or she is paid well and feels it's worth hard his or her family to quit. Perceive organizational support. Pose. Meaning of pose. Degree to which employees believe the organization values their contributions and cares about their well-being. Perceive organizational support. It is higher where rewards are fair, employees are involved in decision making, and supervisors are seen as supportive. Next, perceived organizational support is vital in countries where power distance is lower. They rather to think of work as an exchange compared with moral obligations. The degree of involvement with satisfaction with and enthusiasm for the job. Next, it will also engage employees are passionate about their work and company. It is also an employee engagement is important in an organization because through engagement between employees we increase the customer satisfactions. Okay, those all 5 major job attitude, which is first job satisfaction, second job involvement, third organization commitment, fourth perceived organizational support, and fifth, which is employee engagement.
What makes our job being satisfied? There are 3 elements, which is job conditions, personality, and corporate social responsibility. Job conditions consist of intrinsic working nature, social interaction, and supervision, while personality is a person who is with positive core self-evaluations, while CSR stands for Corporate Social Responsible. It is a non-profit work which is a kind of charity giving, across environmental sustainability initiatives. 4 kinds of job satisfaction outcomes, which is job performance, organization citizenship behavior, customer satisfaction, and life satisfaction. If a person's job satisfied, it will produce a more happy worker, it will increase customer satisfaction, and the life satisfaction will be positively impact to the persons, and it involves also organizational citizenship behavior. Anybody knows about employee dissatisfaction response? There are 4 elements, which is the first one is counterproductive work behavior. It is action that actively damage the organization, including stealing, behaving aggressively towards co-workers, or being late or absent. The next one is manager often don't get it. It is terms that we always knows that some managers they don't listen to the employee. The third one is employee job satisfaction levels needs attention in terms of they must determine their performance, turnover, absenteeism, and withdrawal behaviors. And last but not least, the employee must re-evaluate employees' gap to fit between the employee's work interest and the intrinsic. Okay, now we have finished our slides. We are pleased if anyone could raise any question that you were not unsure, or you can maybe give some suggestions to us so that we can make more improvement to our slides. Thank you for listening to our slides. Bye-bye.